Hello and welcome to another episode of Geography Made Easy. In these videos, we try to make geography easier for you. If you like my channel, do not forget to share, like and subscribe to this channel to get more updates on different topics of geography. Let us move on. Today we are going to talk about environmental studies, about human communities and how they adjust with the environment. Let us proceed. First we have to understand what is the meaning of human population and human population growth. We are discussing this particular chapter because population is on the rise. It is all the time rising, it is growing, it is increasing in size. And here we are talking literally about human population because human population poses a lot of challenges and problem to the natural environment. So here we will talk in context to India. Human population growth in India is very high. So we have 2011 census data. We do not have 2021 census data. According to 2011 census, population was nearly about 1 billion. But by another particular source, we have come to know that population in the year 2023 has crossed the 1 million mark. Here we are looking at a particular graph where we are seeing that resource, and in this case we are using resource, economic resource. It's represented by per capita income when it is measured or compared with the size of population. So resource and population is always adjusted. So when the population is low and resources are high, we have the underpopulation stage. Where the resource is equal to population, we have the optimum population stage, and where the population is greater than resource, we have the overpopulation stage. Now we have to understand that the adjustment between these two are very important, and sometimes these questions from what is overpopulation, what is optimum population comes in the examination. Let us move on. We are looking at the demographic transition models. This is the spelling actually. So demographic transition model is a particular model which discusses about a country's population growth. So this is a very popular model, and this model divides the growth of population into stages. So we have stage 1, stage 2, stage 3 and stage 4 of the demographic transition model. So this is when we are measuring time on the x-axis in relationship to population on the y-axis. So what is the meaning of stage 1? Stage 1 is when the birth rate, so if you look at the birth rate and the death rate are high, which means that population is low. The growth of population is low. Why? Because too many children are being born, and a lot of children are being born and a lot of people are also dying. So birth and death is very high. So it kind of balances the extra persons which can be created. The stage 1 of population is seen in such countries where we see that the healthcare is poor, and we see that a lot of children are being born because a lot of child mortality is high. So we see this happening where the child mortality is high and use of contraceptives is unavailable. So people do not know how to control birth. The second stage is a very interesting stage, and in this stage India was there for a very long period of time before independence and also post independence. So in this stage we see that the birth rate is rising. If you look at this part of the curve, the birth rate is rising, and also we see that the death rate has started declining. We see that the growth of the population is high in this particular stage, with the birth rate more or less very high but going down a little bit, and death rate going down dramatically. With the if you look at the total population size, it is going up. So here we see that the healthcare infrastructure has increased in healthcare, and this has a huge impact on the reduction of the mortality in this second stage. But the birth rate is still high because people still tend to have more children, because that has become a cultural aspect for this kind of population. In the third stage, we see that the growth rate is still high, but it has stabilized. India at the moment is in the third stage of the demographic transition model. Here we see that people have started changing their mentality. They now go for lesser number of children, so people have fewer number of children. Women education has improved, and we see that different kinds of contraceptives are available. So in the stage 3, we see that there is an improvement in the healthcare facilities. So the birth rate has started going down in this stage. And finally, in the fourth stage, which we see in all developed nations, both the birth rate and the death rate are low. So the birth rate has also fallen, as well as the death rate. So people live for a longer period of time, but not a lot of children are being born in these communities. And we see this kind of problem in developed nations, especially certain nations such as Japan and any other first world countries or developed nations, global north. We see this kind of stage where they have reached this particular part of the demographic transition model. I have already said India is in stage 3. So we have to understand this. Next, there is another more popular model which a lot of you have heard, which is known as the Malthusian theory of population growth, where population growth is compared with food production. So on one hand, we have population growth, which grows in the form of geometric progression, or GP. So if it is 2, from 2 it will go to 4, it will become 8, it will become 16, and so on. Whereas food production is finite, and this grows at a arithmetical progression, where we have 2 plus 3 plus 4. So we have 2 plus 1 3 plus 1 4 plus 1 5. So not in this form, actually it is in additional way in which the growth takes place, and here we have the multiplications which are taking place. So always the food production is always less than the growth of population. Population growth is always much greater than the food production, which leads to again inequalities in the societies. And Malthus came up with the result that there is disequilibrium between food supply and population. And he said that there are certain ways in which nature tries to correct this. And how does it do? Through positive checks or natural checks, such as epidemics, such as any kind of disaster which takes place, which leads to the death of a large number of people. And we have the preventive measures, that is when we do not have children. So in this case, for example, we have late marriage, celibacy, and we have family planning, and contraception. It has become an important means through which we can control our population. So in these two ways, our population can be controlled. So this is the Malthusian theory of population, which is a very popular theory of population growth, because this was one of the earliest theories of population growth. Let us move on. So I hope the growth theories are clear with you all. Let us move on. That is, for I will talk about what are the causes of high population growth. So let us talk about the different causes of population growth. We will be discussing about the causes of high population. The first one is poverty. The second one is illiteracy. Third one is cultural norms. The fourth one is migration. I'll explain how each of them contribute to high population. And the fifth one is improvements in medical facilities. So what happens in each case and why are they important? The first one is poverty. So when people who are poor, they feel that more number of children, they are sources of income where they can actually work more. So the more number of children who are there, the more they will be able to employ, they will get more employment. So this leads to having the propensity of more number of children. And this again is very much related with illiteracy, where we see that people will tend to have more children when their education is not there, when they are illiterate people tend to have more children. And this, because with education the awareness is created, the awareness is lacking that high population is harmful. This is lacking. And also you are poor, you are illiterate, you are not sending all of your all of your children, you're not sending them to school. So the recurring costs also is less for this kind of a family. So they go hand in hand. The third is the cultural norms, and this plays a very important role, where we see that the preference for male child, and sometimes we see that the male heir, these have a huge impact on the population. The fourth point here is migration, and migration leads to having more or high population. So the place where there is in migration, we see that the population increases. Where the place from where the population is migrating out, we see that the migration over there is decreasing. And improvement in medical facilities has led to a reduction in the deaths. So this also causes an increase in the population. And let us move on. So what are the effects of overpopulation? Some of the effects are that too much of resources getting the resources have to be shared amongst many people. So that is a problem, a big problem for any particular country. Then we see that not everybody is getting equal opportunity, which is actually leading to unemployment. And unemployment in different forms, we sometimes see that unemployment can be in the form of even disguised unemployment or underemployment. All of these are happening in places or countries which are having high population or overpopulation. Then we see that inequality is also one of the major causes or effects of overpopulation. We see that it leads to poor lifestyles. We see that the people, they are not able to maintain a good standard of living. Their standard of living is poor. So that is also because of high population, lack of equal opportunities. So we see that there is a lack of opportunity for the population. So all of these are mostly the economic causes or effects of overpopulation. And the sixth one here is degradation of the environment, and we are going to talk about that in details. Degradation of the environment, there are certain ways in which it is happening. So some of them are generation of waste, threats to the biodiversity. So we see that all the different processes by which is done because of urbanization, because of overpopulation, are all having negative impacts on the environment, such as climate change, increase in technology, productivity, human health infrastructure gets affected, economic and welfare of the people as well as the environment gets affected. Apart from that, we see that pollution is one of the major problems which are occurring because of high population, and a lot of the species are lost in the natural resource. There is a lot of pressure on the natural resource, which is again happening when we see that the population is high. Moving on, we have two concepts which are related with population there in the syllabus. It is resettlement and rehabilitation. We will try and understand these concepts briefly because I think questions of 2 marks may come from what is the difference between resettlement, rehabilitation, or what is the meaning of these terms. So, resettlement is the process by which refugees are relocated to another country, and rehabilitation is the process of care. And in this case, the word care is very important. The process of caregiving, which is provided by the country where the refugee is migrating, where so that they can lead a normal or a healthy and happy life. So this is one example of a photograph which is in the websites where which promote rehabilitation, where we see that how you can help refugees who have actually gone through a lot of trauma when they come to your country, and how you help them out. So if you have any doubts, or if you want to comment something, if you did not like something or did not understand something, please feel free to comment in the comment section. I will try and explain that. Maybe at the end of all the videos I can come back with a doubt clearing session where we can discuss all the possible or probable questions and the answers, or the parts which I did not go into detail. So see you in the next video, and hopefully you like this video. Bye.